Yeah, we're back at it. I'm so relieved. My sewing Sojo Mojo returned and it feels great. I took a break, now I'm back and I'm having a great time. So there are some things I've been working on since I last saw you. I'll talk about each pattern briefly and of course try it on, and hopefully this would spark a little bit of inspiration for you. That's the whole point here, is to just show you patterns. I sew big four, I don't really sew independents, but to show you the patterns made up and worn on a regular person so that you can decide if maybe it's something you want to make too. So I'm going to start off with what I'm wearing. And this is my new winter nightshirt. This is Kwik Sew 2821. And this is an older pattern. These old Kwik Sews, they're long out of print. I made this out of a double brushed poly and it is just as soft as butter. It's so very soft. Now, good pattern. What could go wrong here? Not much. I didn't do the V-neck. My only complaint, and it's not a deal breaker, but it's that this neckline is a little bit high up, like really high up. So there's the pattern envelope to compare. Mine came out quite a bit higher, and I will say the piece that they provided for the neckband was really too short, and I had to stretch that thing so far just to get it onto the neckline. So when I make this again, and I will, because you know it's great, it's just a little nightshirt, and who doesn't love a nightshirt? I like having it short but long sleeves so I can have my arms out of the covers. When I make it again, I'm just going to loosen up that neckline a little bit. But otherwise, this is a good one. It's a little bit hard to find, but I am obsessed, hashtag obsessed with Kwik Sew. So I'm looking for them all the time, and I saw this one come up and I grabbed it. Okay, I'm gonna go put on some more and I'll be right back. Simplicity 8332. I love this pattern. I've made it 6 times now. I don't understand exactly what's going on with that top view. See how the front of the skirt is cut off? I don't care for that so much, but I went ahead and made this version a midi length. Now you'll notice that I often change the lengths of my dresses, and 9 times out of 10 they end up midi length. I just really love it. So I have a little slit there for ease of movement. I had this pretty border print crepe de chine. This is super thin. And I made this dress to just kind of lounge around the house, put on after dinner and watch a movie. But I thought, you know, if I put it with some shoes, I could pretty easily wear it out. So it's a little bit low cut. I thought I had raised the neckline more than I did here. But I usually raise the neckline, of course, lower the hemline. Otherwise, it's going to end up pretty short. But this pattern has 4 pieces. They just go together so easily. The V-neck is very easy. It's easy to get a sharp V because you have a little seam here on the front of your bodice. So it's finished with bias binding, purchased, woven bias binding, and I just love this pattern. Simplicity 8332. I'm afraid that it's out of print, but rest assured I have quite a few to keep me going. Here here we have Burda 6330 and Simplicity 9050. This is a little knit top, and it has ties that come out of the back on the view that I made and tie in the front. And these are great pants. You know what? I made them out of a knit this time, but they're actually drafted for woven. So here is the little outfit I got. Now, the pants, you can't really see it. It's a navy blue stripe, and it's sort of like a ponte knit, although maybe a little more stable than that. So they're very straight leg. They do have these pockets on the front. Here is the shirt out of that super soft double brushed poly. Here are the little ties, and I'll show you that they are just sewn into the back seam, and then you can bring them around and tie them in the front. And it just gives the shirt a little more shape. I changed the length of the sleeves. I made mine a little bit longer as we head into colder and colder winter. So there is that outfit, and I'll show you another shirt I made that goes with these blue trousers. Hang on. Hey, you know what that noise was? Because I said to Brad, I'm gonna be filming, we need quiet on the set. He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna be up in my office. So I hear all this clatter, and I'm like, what is he doing? Well, look who it was.
Hello.
It's Colin stopping in on his lunch hour.
On my lunch break.
We look a little washed out back here.
I don't know why. I mean, there's a sun. There's a window right there with the sun flowing in.
Okay, but then if you get closer, the color sort of changes. Anyway, nice to see you.
Yes.
You're not wearing anything.
Well, I'm wearing my uniform essentially.
Okay, but
this is just the bottom layer of my jacket. So
I did not make this.
There's nothing on here made by a fifth.
I'm sorry, will you please get out of the shot? You're not wearing anything made at home. All right, hang on, I'll be right back. Bye, Colin.
Bye.
Simplicity 8053. This is not a new pattern by any means. It is drafted for wovens. We have a button front. You can put a collar on it if you'd like. There we see that funky high-low hem again that they were kind of keen on. I don't know if they still are. This looked way too short for me, so I decided to go with this view right here, and I chose this very pretty batik. So this fabric borders almost on crunchy. I mean, it is really stiff. It's 100% cotton, but it's very, very stiff, even after washing and drying and all that. So you can't see too much detail on this because of my very frenetic print, but we do have princess seams. My buttons, I just chose these little sort of taupe colored buttons. 3/4 length sleeve. These sleeves have a band attached to them, and I didn't have enough fabric to make mine either long sleeve, well, to make mine long sleeve. So mine is 3/4 length sleeves. The shirt does go with these navy blue pants. Actually though, in trying it on with several different things, I really like it with jeans. But it's a fine pattern. I didn't have any trouble with it. You can put pockets on the front of it if you'd like. Lots of options in Simplicity 8053. So there's that one. Then I was really getting carried away, and I thought, also pants that go with this top. So I'll go put those on and show them to you next. I chose Simplicity 9184 to make these customized pants to fit or to go with actually, my batik top. So you can see that I added some navy bands around the bottoms of these. Now these have pockets, and everything is fine. However, I really regret using some very low quality fabric. This off-white fabric, it's not very good. So they could hang better if I had used more quality fabric, and they're a little light for fall actually, but you know, I did enjoy sewing them. The pattern is fine. You get this kind of interesting vest in there with that. Nothing to dislike about the pants. I cut them off a little bit shorter and then just cut the navy blue out of the bottoms of the pattern pieces, and then they fit perfectly. So this top, I forgot to mention, has a little pleat in the back as well. So that is Simplicity 9184 pants, 8053 top. Yes, I would make it again, and I think it's very cute in that cropped style, but I'd probably have to add probably 2 inches to still keep it cropped for me. All right, moving right along. I bought a lot of that Susanna Monaco nylon Lycra when Fabric Mart got that in. And these are beautiful fabrics. The Lycra content is 10%, and they're very substantial, quite weighty. So for this very, very pale pink, salmon pink, I picked up New Look 6618. I have made this dress before with the attached ties, but this time I did the tie separately. So it's a nice long length, which is what I love. I've paired it with black boots. I gave this fabric contrasting neckband and sleeve bands there, and then I put this kind of fancy little ribbon tie at the back to close it. So I don't usually, now look, I'm looking for pockets. I didn't put them in, and the pattern doesn't have them. I don't usually wear things with a belt, so this is a little bit outside of my comfort zone. But you know, I think it's just kind of funky enough that I like it. Again, the fabric is gorgeous, a lot of stretch, lot of substance to this fabric. It's not your typical little stretch rayon at all. What was I gonna say? There was something I was gonna say about this pattern. I can't remember. Very easy dress to make, very, very easy. Here it is without the belt. It's just a giant, what do you call that? Like a sack? And I like dresses like that, but this one is a little too voluminous to wear, I think, without a belt. But you certainly could if you want to. And look how long that belt is. That is a serious sash right there. So that is New Look 6618. I can't remember what I wanted to tell you. It must not have been very important. We covered the basics. It's a fine pattern. If you put those ties on it, when you tie them in the front, it pulls the side seams to the front. And that's how it looks on the model, and I guess it was designed that way. The last time I made it was out of a very cheap, might as well just say it, cheap ITY in bright yellow. And I've never, ever worn the dress because you can see every single peak and valley. And it's like, I have no interest in that. So definitely, if you want to make this dress, choose a knit with a little bit of substance to it. That's my advice. Onward we go. Favorite skinny pants, Kwik Sew 3807. I truly love this pattern. I've never put in the little zippers at the cuffs, but what I do is I just leave a little split there so that you can get them on over your feet. My top is Simplicity 8344. Now I sewed 2 patterns this go round from the 1970s. More on that in a minute. So I have my skinny pants and I have this little peasant style top, which you'll notice does not come with a ruffle. The ruffle edition was all mine. So that fabric is a polyester woven, very thin. It came from Vogue Fabric Store, and I love it. It's that little tiny floral print. We have a drawstring at the neckline. We have elastic in the cuffs, and then this ruffle. Now, I wrote down a couple things about this pattern. Looks very easy. In fact, they call it a how to sew pattern. This is from 1977, I believe. Well, first of all, the pattern pieces do not state how many to cut. So when you look at a pattern piece and it says sleeve cut 2, there's no quantity listing on these pattern pieces. I found that a bit peculiar, particularly for a learn to sew pattern. Stay stitching, they instruct you to do 5/8 inch from the raw edge. That's not a good instruction. That stay stitching is probably going to show if you put it 5/8 of an inch from the edge. Also, it did not need stay stitching. They had you stay stitch this wide neckline. And all that did was make it difficult to sew. It has a facing on there that you then thread the drawstring through. And the facing, there was too much facing because the neckline would not give at all with the stay stitching in it. So no, this is a case where you did not need the stay stitching. And then the other thing was all of the diagrams in here on the instruction sheet are shaded. They're all blue, so they don't differentiate between the wrong side and the right side of the fabric. Everything is blue. And again, I thought that's not real helpful if you're learning how to sew, or even if you've been sewing for a while. Yes, it's an easy pattern. Yes, you can figure it out, but you know, I gotta say, I was not crazy about that. So, what do we think of this? I like it just because I love big oversized stuff. It was gonna be way too short without this ruffle, and I used a very thin crepe de chine for the ruffle, and I made it very ruffled. I had to do a lot of gathering, but I like the look. The pants, I'm gonna give a plug for Hobby Lobby bengaline. This is a forest green. It is beautiful fabric. I've made these in navy, I've made them in black, all out of that Hobby Lobby bengaline. And it's got a nice bit of stretch. It sews beautifully. Just make sure that when you cut the pants, that the stretch is going horizontally and not vertically, because you need it to stretch around. And yeah, like I say, I just love these pants. One pattern piece, and they'll go with a ton of stuff. So I'm gonna go put on my last outfit for today. It's another 1970s pattern. Hang on. Simplicity 5451. Oh, okay, right out of the gate, I thought, are they kidding me? Are they kidding me? Now this is a cute dress. I changed the length to midi, no big surprise there. So if you look at that neckline, it's got a little bit of gathering or ruching vertically right there at center front. Well, guess how they tell you to sew it. They have this little piece that I saved out just to show you. Oh gosh, okay. This little piece is the guide. Piece B, guide. They literally tell you to sew this guide to your garment so that you can just gather it between the dots and then rip it off. Now, what? Just say gather it 2 inches. I couldn't believe that. I apologize if that's, if that's a fine instruction, but I just, I don't know. This is a jiffy knit, okay? So 1977, the knits were not as thin and stretchy as we have now. Nevertheless, I chose to make mine out of another Susanna Monaco. This one is not the real stretchy 10% Lycra though. This is rayon with, I think, 6% stretch, and it's a lot thinner than the other ones that I showed you. Now I chose to add pockets and I put them in slightly low. Not horribly low, but kind of low. And then I thought I need something to make this dress go into winter, so here's another old Kwik Sew 2948. This is for a twin set, and I made the little cardigan. And I had this kind of oatmeal colored rib knit. It cost me $1 a yard at Fabric Mart. So I thought that's gonna go with that dress. And then this way, despite being short sleeved, it's got those little bell sleeves. I finished the bottom of those with, serging. I thought that I had done the narrow rolled hem, which would have worked nicely. So that's your choice. Now you'll notice that on this Crazy Simplicity pattern, see on the blue dress and on her dress how there's a little tie right there at center front? Well, I left mine off. I did the little bit of gathering just with using a ruler, not sewing my guide to my fabric. And I did raise this neckline a little bit because I thought it might be kind of low. So it's got facings, okay? And you do interface the facings and then attach them. And it actually worked out pretty well. Those corners are nice and sharp, and I do like the dress, but I thought that instruction was kind of crazy. But there you have it. That's a midi length. They have it in mini and full length. The twin set, no problems here. However, I didn't put the buttons on. And this rib knit, I think I said it was $1 a yard. It's not exactly stellar quality, so I thought, no, I'm not gonna bother with putting buttons down the front, but you certainly could do that. And you could also put patch pockets on it. But as a nice little toss-on cardigan, it works. That is everything for now. I am just really supercharged and I want to sew everything. And my sewing room is a mess. But I'm going to get right back in there and keep sewing. And I might sew some things that go with some of the pieces you saw today. So they might make an encore appearance next month. Thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for all your wonderful comments in my previous video. I've read them all, and I sure do appreciate all of your support. And I'm wishing you well on this gorgeous fall day in Virginia. I hope it's pretty where you are, and that'll do it for now. Bye, everyone.